Back in Dallas, Texas for the Canadiens and Stars on Hockey Night in Canada. The Canadiens will try to unleash their speed against a team that's been defensively challenged. Stars are dead last in the league in goals against, and as a result, in the tough Central Division, last there as well. At the other end of the spectrum, Dallas boasts the NHL's leading goal scorer. Tyler Seguin has 19, but the Stars would need 3 or 4 more of him to overcome the 5-goal deficits they faced in each of their last 4 games. Almost 4 days after his passing, the memory of Jean Beliveau, who stood for everything good about the Canadiens and the game, is still being honored, and appropriately with the Canadiens in town tonight. It will be tonight here at the American Airlines Center.
Hometown hero of the night, Navy Senior Chief Aviation Bosun's Mate Scott Doty. Fans, this week the hockey world lost a legend. Jean Beliveau is an icon for the most iconic team in our game and an inspiration to generations of hockey fans. Over his magnificent career spanning 2 decades, Beliveau tallied 1,219 points in 1,125 games played and led the Montreal Canadiens as captain during his final 10 years as a player. The name Jean Beliveau has been inscribed on the Stanley Cup 17 times. 10 as a player and 7 as an executive. Please join us in a moment of silence as we recognize the great contributions made by Jean Beliveau to the game of hockey.
Oh, Canada, terre de nos aïeux, ton français des fleurs glorieux, car ton bras s'est porté l'épée, il s'est porté la croix, ton histoire est une épopée. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets and the land, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Montreal Canadiens closing out a 4-game road trip tonight with a chance to finish it at 500. The Dallas Stars trying to snap a 4-game losing streak. Paul Romanuk is in the broadcast booth. Mike Johnson at ice level. Paul.
Well, and what a lovely emotional moment it was here in the building as the fans honored the great career of Jean Beliveau. First with some applause and then with a moment's silence. Bit of a surprise with Carey Price getting the start. He plays the second half of the back-to-back in back-to-back games. The first time he's done that this year. He did that a couple of times last year. Lost both times in that scenario. Kari Lehtonen is in at the other end. Career against Montreal in 14 games. 7 wins, 6 losses, a couple of shutouts, 2.61 goals against average. Referee tonight is the veteran Dave Jackson, along with Steve Kazari, Shane Heyer, and Lonnie Cameron on the lines. And we are all set to start things off. It's Hockey Night in Canada on City. Montreal wrapping up the road trip. Paul Romanek, Mike Johnson, Scott Oak. You've got the best seat in the house. Great to have you with us wherever you're looking in, coast to coast. And the puck chipped up along the boards and wheeling up there after it. Ryan Garvin gets there first for the Stars. He was watched there along the boards by Markov. Puck comes up around and out to the neutral zone. And the Stars back to regroup. Stars have been dynamos offensively and a bit of a gong show at times defensively. Big hit there as knocked down was number 14, Thomas Buchanan, and he's back up. Plays it back out towards the blue line, but broken up. And the Canadians will get some changes in. Stars will do likewise.
Pretty good start for Montreal, though. Sense the energy down here as both teams have a sense of urgency for this game.
Well, it's one that you mentioned earlier, Mike. It's both teams would feel, yeah, this could be a chance to right the ship. Puck fired in and tipped wide there. Montreal finishing up a 4-game road trip. They've struggled the last little while after getting off to a thunderous start this season. And Dallas, meanwhile, without a win in their last 4. Offside call.
The Dallas Stars, they want to come out and establish some energy, some physicality, and some good defense. And they start Garbutt, Roussel, and Cody Eakin for a reason. These guys are physical, they want to play hard, and they're willing to get engaged going up against Buchanan's line, who was terrific last night against Chicago. And Cody Eakin, centerman on that line, trying to find somebody who's defensively reliable to start a game.
Well, one of those nights for Montreal, everything went quite well, to use the old line. Other than that, Mrs. Lincoln, how was the show? They played quite well until the last 27 seconds. And one mistake really cost them. A mistake by Markov down in front of his own net. But to matters at hand, and the Stars hemmed into their own zone. Eric Cole. Finally, it's moved up to Curtis McKenzie, who will lug it out across center. He comes in. Alexiak gets it over. Spezza drops it back. The trailer coming in was Eric Cole. Now Spezza right back out there. He is called down, and no penalty. Fans looking for one, so was Spezza.
So was the entire Dallas Star bench. Up in arms over no call there.
Cole pokes it in. Puck chopped out. Jason Demers looking for it. Number 4 there for the Stars. Taken away from him. That's Sven Andrighetto, number 58 out there for Montreal, playing in his first NHL game. And he's coming down the middle and now angling towards the corner. He will slash the puck back up along the board. Ben moves it up. Subban moved it up. Andrighetto going towards the corner. Sick catch out there with him. Andrighetto planted there on his backside. Parenteau after it. Broken up. And Moen gets it out. Moen, the former Montreal Canadian, traded here to Dallas in return for Sergei Gonchar.
Oh, too many almost there. Roussel up early for Orkov.
Roussel had his pocket pick down in the corner. Galchenyuk was looking for somebody in front. Cody Eakin out across center. He has Garbutt to his left, got it to him. He whopped and wired, and that was knocked away. Price has lost his stick. Puck will come back out. Price is stickless. Eakin looking for it. Alexiak weaving along the boards, is looking for a way out. It's going to come down around. Eakin with it. Snowshoes along the wall there. Gets possession of the puck. He was looking for Daly, but knocked away and out. This is Daly. Long pass up ahead, just tipped in there by Goligoski. Subban wheels it up along the boards. Knocked down, fortuitous bounce there for the Stars. Then fires it in. That was knocked away by Price. Puck comes across, pass just missing Seguin. Seguin out there, cuts across the front of the net, now comes over to challenge, but he couldn't get there in time. Puck cleared down the ice. Lettinen, long pass back up there to Demers. Quickly up to Seguin, little touch pass, up ahead to Ben, fires it in, and Price will hang on.
Well, you talked about how good Dallas can be at scoring goals. We've seen the good version of the Dallas Stars. Off the rush, they can create plays with their speed, attacking at the line. Jason Spezza drops it back. Eric Cole has a good look right down the slot. And then Garbutt leans onto the slapper, and you can hear it hit the knob of Carey Price's stick, knock the stick right out of his hands. As that third line generated something off the rush as well. And Dallas can be very dangerous if you give them a transition game to play with.
Spezza got it back for Cole, fired it across. Going to skip up around the boards and past the outstretched Jamie Oleksiak. He's back to pick it up, being shadowed there by Crooks. And the puck fired all the way down. That will be an icing call on the Dallas Stars. Lindy Ruff saying earlier today that he thought the problem was that the team was getting caught on the offensive side of the puck too often.
And he's exactly right. You don't come last. You're not last in the league in goals against because you're having all the right habits. They want to be creative and push the pace, but you have to do that in a responsible manner. And they've been caught cheating far too often. Wrong side of the pile, hoping for pucks to bounce loose instead of being below it where they can support it and be in good defensive position as well.
Galchenyuk trying to win the puck. Chopped out there by McKenzie, knocked down. Galchenyuk will move towards the goal, waiting, and tried to bank it in there. He was contending with Oleksiak as he walked towards the net. Oleksiak has now lost his stick. Puck comes to Gonchar, and he fell on the stick. Up in the corner, Galchenyuk tries to walk it to the slot. Puck comes back out. Cole is on the way up the middle, takes it crisply on the blade, and then just dumps it off down into the Montreal zone.
That's that fortunate break there. Oleksiak running around, no stick, scrambling, and Yemlin steps on his broken lumber, flying on the ice.
Puck will bounce up towards the corner. Weaver, he was stumped along the boards and gets up rather slowly. Daly winds his way, dashing around, sending it out in front, comes back out. Oh, and ready to crank it was Goligoski. He's going to bounce around in front. He elected with the quick pass instead, and maybe wishing he'd shot. He was in great position. Pass comes all the way up. The knife from the sharp angle there from Pacioretty missed the mark. Canadians flying up there trying to press. That was intended for Subban, but went off a skate and is knocked out. Subban takes it on his stick. He will weave out to center. Now, tight turn back. Moves it up ahead. Parenteau striding up after it. Seikac comes up as well. Parenteau and Seikac looking around. Out in front of the net is Andrighetto, and they can't get it to him. Puck banked off the board. Subban with it. Parenteau for Montreal. Andrighetto over to the right. Seikac taking it instead. Here's Subban. Up for Andrighetto, gets by him, down into the zone, and called back into the Montreal zone for icing.
And we touched on the physical nature of that third line for Dallas. Ryan Garbutt comes in and he finishes Weaver. A little bit on the back shoulder, drives him in, and Michel Therrien was not happy. Up on the bench for about 20 seconds, standing there, not really screaming, just eyeballing the referee, looking for a call. Garbutt plays on the edge. They've been caught once this year. Knee on knee with Taylor Hall, and players they are.
Top of the point, wire wide by Daly. Trevor Daly back to pick it up. Turns to face the play, long pass up ahead. Ben fired that in wide. Seguin trying to corral a bouncing puck. Knocked away by Crest. Played out. Back up towards the corner, and an icing call on Dallas.
Well, one good thing for Montreal, 7 minutes of this game, is they are not showing any kind of fatigue with regards to the late night travel in from Chicago. This game has got lots of pace in it early, as it's been played pretty quickly. Back and forth they've gone. It's not always easy to get in, get to the hotel, don't get to sleep until 2 or 3 in the morning, and then no morning skates, so you can't be sluggish to start. They have not been tonight.
Galchenyuk trying to pull it loose. Now Gallagher. Emily moving over after it. He was given a bit of a bump. The Stars will start back. Seguin was free up the middle, but the puck just cleared in, and Seguin heads to the bench with his line mates. Stars on a change. Gallagher creeping along the boards, trying to slip away there from Oleksiak. Into the corner, gets some help. Galchenyuk up there into the mix. Tried to get it out, bouncing around. Plekanec couldn't corral it. Galchenyuk, yeoman's service to keep it in. Gallagher down in the corner. He was rubbed out of the play by Garbett. Plekanec up there looking for it. Galchenyuk to Gallagher. Turning around, Gilbert looking, waiting. Goes over to the open wing. Subban had a notion, but got the better of it, and he peels back. Out through center. Good progress here by Eakin. Subban after it. This is McKenzie. Twist and turn, and a real rugby ruck there along the boards with Subban. Puck comes out in front. Spezza had a flyby. He's got it again. Shoots, and it's tipped up over the glass and into the netting. Spezza thought he had a chance as he picked up that puck in the slot. Back in a moment. Well, I guess maybe if you think a team is tired, you want to go out and test them physically, and Dallas has done that so far. Mike, they're out hitting them 8-3.
And they've listened to Lindy Ruff for the last couple days. It's not enough battle, not physical enough. Got to get engaged more. And certainly at the beginning of this game, they have done exactly that, running around, finishing when they can, and using their speed because they do have a fast group of forwards to get in on the forecheck. Montreal's got to be aware that they're coming to be physical tonight.
This is Ben, moves it up. That's a Jordy Ben firing it up. Emelin back there. Took a glance over his shoulder and saw Seguin moving up. Ben is up, gets it to the side of the goal, and Xavier was looking for it. Xavier got it back to Ben. Knocked it across. Demers plays it up. Xavier couldn't pick it up, and the Canadians will start back quickly. Backhand shot just wide. Pacioretty was cutting across through the slot. And this is Jamie Benn back the other way. Sevier up there with him. He was looking for the trailer. Seguin comes back now. Sweeping up. Firing that one high and wide was Goligoski. This is McKenzie. Corralling a bouncing puck. Goligoski rings it in there. McKenzie after it. Got it back to the line. Trying to walk and wire was Daly. Sharp angle going off the side of the goal. Loose down in front now. Puck will come back out. Goligoski lays it across. Daly zips it off the board. Spezza looking for it. Spezza looking around. McKenzie up there to help out. Spezza still gets it in front of the net, right up to the blue paint. This is Daly. Up around, back to the goal. Daly looks around. Spezza's in the corner. He gets it to him. Spezza looks around, back to the top of the point. Wrist shot punched in. That was Cole letting it go. He dropped back to play the right point after Daly had jumped up into the left. Puck comes to the front. Cole is looking for it. Spezza's still there. Chops it. Cole down in front. Now lumbering up there is Daly. He'll drop it back. Goligoski waiting, shooting. That was blocked. Puck drops down into the corner. Picked up by Sekac. Montreal under some pressure here. Markov. Markov will get a second chance. Just punches it up ahead there to Prust. Gilbert played it over. Prust winds his way to the line. Right down the middle. Tried to play it over. Went off the skate of Vernon Fiddler. And back down the ice. And this is Subban for Montreal.
Trevor Daly right now being helped down the tunnel right behind me. He blocked a shot or got hit with a shot in the offensive zone. He's getting heavily assisted trying to get back to the dressing room.
That was his own teammate that hit him with the shot. Klingberg tied up there. Emelin. And the play is whistled down. 9:11 to go in the first period. Montreal does not have a shot on goal yet in this game. You're watching Hockey Night in Canada on City.
Bench one man short as one of their top pair defensemen, Trevor Daly, trying to get in front of the net for a screen, gets hit by Goligoski, shot right on the outside of his right foot, and he limped down in the dressing room. Could barely get off the ice. That would be a huge blow. And welcome to the NHL, Sven Andrighetto, playing against Jason Spezza down low in his own end for about 45 seconds, trying to defend one-on-one battles. Smaller guy against a skilled veteran. And he got hemmed in there a little bit as he's fighting it a little bit different than down in the minors.
First NHL game versus 12th NHL season. You kind of knew how that would work out. This is Demers. Long pass up ahead. Breaking up on the left was Roussel. They couldn't get it to him, but buzzing up there is Eakin right in there. Rolled it right through the crease. And play is whistled down, and a penalty coming up. It is going to be a holding call, and it will go against Montreal.
Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. Own it now on Blu-ray and DVD.
And with that Montreal penalty, along with THU Energy.
It's going to be Yemlin who goes to the box, and he gets caught watching a little bit on the wall. Puts a hook in on Garbett, draws a penalty, but then watch Subban diving back here. Just with his skate, ties up Roussel's stick. As it was almost a backdoor tap in, and Dallas Stars, who have struggled despite all their high-end talent in the power play, go to work here in the first.
Well, and they're no sign of Daly yet. They're missing a key guy in the power play. He has 5 goals, 4 of his 5 have come in the man advantage. Sagan back on the left point on the power play. He'll take it here on the left side, gets it right in front, scores! Eakin! Cody Eakin gets the goal. Sagan set him up. 1-0 Stars.
Right for the faceoff. Spezza wins it against Malhotra, which is a story in its own right. Quickly gets down in front of the net. Off Spezza and Markov, and then Cody Eakin, who was on this power play only to be in front of the net via screen, active stick, picks this one out of the air. And in behind Carey Price, who's got no chance on it. A quick attack off of one draw before the penalty killers could really get into their rotation and pressure. Results in the first goal for Dallas.
6 seconds into the power play. That's all it took. Lehtinen out to play it. He still hasn't faced a shot yet. Long pass up ahead to McKenzie. Will he get a chance? Yes, he does. And Price flicked out that left pad. Backhand shot up towards the goal, not cleared out. Klingberg. Goligoski.
Dallas Stars power play goal, his 6th goal
Gets bounced down. Sagan closing up there. He'll come into the corner after it. And it was rubbed out. Parenteau.
Number 33, Alex Goligoski. Time of the Stars power play goal, 11:23.
Goligoski and Sagan picking up the assists on the power play goal scored by Eakin. And here the puck comes across the bench. Shooting! Right there was Price. And that was a nice shot by Jamie Benn from the left side. Parenteau. Got it up towards the corner. He will drift up there. Say catch after it. Tried to play it back, but Demers playing it down in. Up there in the forecheck. Horcoff. Got to dig that puck loose. Horcoff playing in his 900th NHL game today. Subban. Being watched by Horcoff. Crushed. Trying to get past Ben. Fiddler plays it back up. Horcoff. This is Jordy Ben. Horcoff has it. He's got some room down the left side as he hits the line. Up there into the mix as well as Fiddler. Fiddler on the boards. Not to be confused with Fiddler on the roof. Puck moved back to the blue line. Punched up. Here's Fiddler. Tries to center it. It bounces down in front. Horcoff looking for it. Now scooped up. And Price will play it out.
There's Daly back out there for Dallas. That's a good sign. You're a Stars fan.
This is Gilbert. Gilbert looking for it and being challenged there by Daly. Back out there, as Mike mentioned, after taking a puck off the foot from teammate Alex Goligoski. Mechanic looking for it. Nice pace to this first period, and they're really favoring the Stars. Roussel flies in over the line, chips it up towards the corner. Garbett up there too.
Penalty.
And
Yeah.
play whistle down, and a penalty coming up. It's going to be a holding call. 5:47 to go in the first period. A power play for Dallas when we come back.
Back in Dallas, the Stars lead the Canadians in the first period. On our Budweiser red light scoreboard, Evgeny Malkin had 2 this afternoon as Pittsburgh beat Ottawa 3-2. Leafs and Canucks are scoreless in the first, and San Jose Calgary is our late game on Hockey Night in Canada on CBC. The Dallas Stars were temporarily down a defenseman until Trevor Daley returned. Mike Weaver got hit by Ryan Garbutt, and shortly after that went to the Canadians' room, and he has not come back to this game. Paul.
It only took 6 seconds into the man advantage last time for Dallas to clinch. Puck bounces there to Price, and he will hang on to it. We'll see what happens here in this power play. That was the goal scorer on the last man advantage.
Cody Eakin knows his role. Get to the front of the net. You got a lot of guys who like to handle it and shoot it. Someone's got to go do the dirty work, and that's what Cody Eakin's out there for, rewarded with the first power play goal.
Coming over after to Seguin. Leads the NHL with 19 goals since the start of the 13-14 season. Only Sidney Crosby has more points. Striding up after Malhotra, big chance, short-handed. He is stopped by Lehtinen. Malhotra looking for his first goal of the year, and he had a great chance there.
Oh, he poked it by Jason Spezza in alone from center ice, and you're right, looking for his first point of the year. You got 4 forwards out here, occasionally you get decisions like that, and Malhotra off to the races, tries to open up. Lehtinen never gets the puck to settle down low. It's hard to get the puck to go 5-hole if you raise it more than just a few inches, and gets it into the gear of Lehtinen, who sprawls and makes a pretty tough first save of the night.
That's the first shot on goal of the night for Montreal. And this is Daley. Up to Cole. In there quickly. Now he tries a little tight turn back and blew a wheel. Puck comes loose and Plekanec gets it down the ice. Lehtinen out to play it. Demers. 1:15 to go in the power play for Dallas. A 1-0 lead. Daley to Cole. Moving in. Sevier. Up there back to the goal. Horkoff up to help out. Oh, the puck just skip past Demers. And Montreal will break back up quickly. The Stars are getting caught pressing there a little bit.
That's a great recovery by Daley, though. Pressured the pass, then was able to close it down on Seacatch and break up the 2-on-1 before it even got going.
This is Gilbert. And he will ring it in around the boards. 40 seconds now to go in the Dallas power play. Goligoski with it. Jamie Benn. One hopper, batted away there, parried away by Price. Seguin. Benn, top of the point. Goligoski fired one. So the shot pass. Lehtinen up for Goligoski. Spezza steps in, looking towards the goal. Eakin is up there with him. Seguin. Pocket pick there by Gonchar. Tries to get it up along the boards. Canadians will come back out. Pacioretty tucking it up ahead. In with the backhand shot was Desharnais, and that was stopped and held by Lehtinen.
Another shorthanded rush for Montreal as they've gotten their best chances when down a man. Lehtinen makes his first couple saves. Almost had a 2-on-1 here as Trevor all the way across, makes cross past it, and then is still able to get back to the other side and break up the 2-on-1 with Seacatch. And then Desharnais drives it wide. Jamie Benn gives him the backhand, and Lehtinen stands up square, makes a nice save, keep the 1-goal lead.
Puck comes back. Gonchar with a shot. Rebound drops down. Weiss. Pacioretty and Desharnais up looking for it. Pacioretty back to the line. Gonchar's open over at the right point. Instead, it goes back up around behind the net. Gonchar will lumber up after it. Pitching well up there from the right point, trying to keep a bit of a drive alive. Daley got it up, tipped out. And right down Main Street comes Klingberg, breaks in with a shot. And that is stopped by Price. Nice rush by John Klingberg. And folks, he is the real deal, the rookie defenseman. You may remember him from a couple of years ago in the World Junior with that gold medal winning Swedish team.
I love what he's brought to their lineup. He's been called up just 12 games this year. He's got 9 points. Tremendous first outlet passer, able to get pucks down the front of the net. As a forward, you love playing with defensemen who can make someone miss and make a good pass on your tape, and Klingberg can do both of those things as well as join the rush.
Played with Frölunda last year in the Elite Series in Sweden. That's a good league, and he's a young guy playing against men, and he held his own. He led all the defensemen on that team in scoring last year. Gallagher up to the corner. Plekanec. Here's Gallagher. Galchenyuk up in the picture as well, but the picture didn't clarify. Benn coming out, and he will steer it in. Price out to play it. Jamie Benn right up. Trying to coax that puck loose, comes along the boards. Gallagher for Montreal. To Plekanec, up to Galchenyuk. Feathered it across. Gilbert waits, shoots. One got away, pings off the glass. Gallagher looking for it. Klingberg will control, and he will start back. Good rushing defenseman, and here he comes again. Hits the line and zips it in. He'll chase that puck up there, and couldn't quite close the gap in time. And you see what we mean. Very offensively minded defenseman. Likes to jump up there. This is Cole. Looking around. Spezza was up there. Parenteau being watched by McKenzie. You hear Alexiak say to his defensive partner, "You got time," and he did. Goligoski moves it up. Price out to play. Parenteau got it crisply up ahead. And the puck deflected up into the netting, and we get a stoppage with 1:35 to go in the first period. Shots on goal, 10-2 for Dallas.
Already shown Klingberg rushing up the ice a couple times. Here's the top scoring defenseman in the NHL this year. You see Ekblad down in Florida, Severson in New Jersey, and Klingberg with just 12 games played right on their tails. And of course, points per game, he would be leading. And he's got a big role to fill because there are some opportunities available on the power play. Big minutes to be had here in Dallas as their defensemen have got younger this year with the departure of some of the veterans, including Sergei Gonchar, who's moved over to the team across the ice in Montreal.
Markov trying to hoe it loose. The puck did pop away, and Subban skating back to claim it from Price. Subban in traffic, made the best of it, just chopping it down the ice. Malhotra played it up there for Prust inside the line, and he lost possession, and the play breaks down. It was offside.
When we come into this game thinking about Dallas and how bad they have been defensively, and we're watching this first period, and you're not seeing it because all the attention to detail that they've been lacking this year really is here in this first period. Being on the defensive side of the puck, supporting it, communication, all the little things that you have to do to be a good defensive team and a team without the puck, they've done. And that certainly has not been the case for most of this year.
Demers got it up ahead. Sevier played it across. Now it bounces out. Seguin weaving in, shooting. Price came out to challenge and knocked it away. Not the guy you wanted to turn the puck over to.
Quick hands in tight. You're just thinking, well, I should shoot that first puck, but of course the good instinct and the good hands make a better chance.
Gilbert dishes off and heads to the net looking for the return feed or a rebound. He found neither. Gonchar chops it up to the corner. Pacioretty works it back out. Gonchar shoots. Up off the boards. Pacioretty fires one. Knocked down on the way through. Good hot wrist shot. Benn cleared it away. Now tapped out. Oh, Seguin was just lurking up there on the right side. He'd have been gone as they got the puck to it. Montreal sloppy, messy change. Puck comes across. Goligoski shooting. Rebound right down in front. Swept towards the corner. Stars with some late period pressure. That one hits the side of the net. Aiken trying to get it in front, and time runs out in this first period.
And at the end of the first period, the score after one period of play.
One goal scored. Cody Eakin got it on the power play, and Dallas with a 1-0 lead. First intermission coming up, and that means Coach's Corner with Ron and Don.
Back at American Airlines Center in Dallas, the Stars trying to snap a 4-game losing streak. As the expression goes, they started on time tonight, and they've got a 1-0 lead over Canadians heading for the second period. On our Budweiser red light scoreboard this afternoon, Flyers beat the Kings 2-1 for their first road win since October 22nd. Pittsburgh beat Ottawa 3-2. Leafs lead the Canucks 2-0 on goals by Holland and Panik, less than a minute apart, getting set for the second period in Toronto. San Jose and Calgary is our late game on Hockey Night in Canada. It was duly noted that PK Subban graced the cover of Sports Illustrated Canadian edition a few weeks back. No Montreal Canadian in a long time has engendered the reaction Subban has. It was a revealing story by Michael Farber in which Subban is quoted as saying, "When's the last time fans had a player who played with the same passion they have for watching the game?" Unquote. On that note, no argument. But how about his memory of his first NHL game? It was against Philadelphia. Subban rushed into a scrum that Chris Pronger was in the middle of, and he said to Pronger, who was holding on to two other players, "I'm not afraid of you." And Pronger said, "God, your breath stinks. Can you not get out of here?" Paul Romanuk, Mike Johnson with the call of the second period.
He's a real character, is Subban. And yeah, great piece by Michael Farber, one of the fine sports writers in Canada. You get a chance to read it, I strongly urge it.
Gallagher trying to answer what Antoine Roussel brought in that first period right off the opening faceoff.
And away comes Goligoski, who will chip it in off the boards, down deep into the Montreal zone. And up there is Roussel trying to coax the puck loose. Galchenyuk. Subban. Goligoski. Tucked it up ahead there to Aiken. Chopped it in. And the pass failing to click there with Galchenyuk. That will be an icing call on Montreal. Scott?
Well, we've got the official word now on Canadians defenseman Mike Weaver, who was crunched by Ryan Garbutt in the first period. He will not be back tonight, so the Canadians will finish this game with 5 defensemen.
Well, the injuries catching up with Montreal last couple of games.
Yeah, they had been fortunate, been pretty healthy for the first 25 or so, but they do have Brian Allen, who's a healthy scratch-in on their roster, can play next game. They went and got some veteran guys in case injuries did creep up. And for this game, last game of a road trip, you have Subban, you have Markov, Gonchar, guys who can pick up the slack, need some heavy minutes if need be. Should be able to get through tonight's game.
Eller, of course, going down last night in the first period of Montreal's game against Chicago. An upper body injury, looked like a shoulder or elbow from what we could see. Lehtinen is going to keep it in play. Just dished it off. He had Weiss right up there to pressure. Sagan trying to get away. Pacioretty was watching him. Gilbert back after it. Gonchar. Turn that puck over. Sagan looks around, weighing the options. The pass was behind Jamie Benn. He'll get it here. Jamie Benn got it to Sevier. Back out for Ben, shoots! Oh, that was tipped on the way through and just rolled wide of the corner. Demers up looking for it with Sevier, and finally turned over. Pacioretty plays it, and it goes out of play, so we get a stoppage.
Dallas picking them right up where they left off in the first, with speed, playing physically in the offensive zone, and when you get the puck on your stick, you have to make a good play with it. Del Weiss gives it right back to Ben and Sagan. They tic-tac-toe it around, and Ben just dribbles it wide through the pile. Not the group you want to turn the puck over to, and out of all that, Max Pacioretty picks up a penalty, and it was, I think it was for over the glass, and they're trying to right now explain that it was to Michel Therrien, then it went over the corner of the glass. Didn't matter if it fell on the bench, it cleared the glass at its highest point. So Dallas, who's already picked up one power play goal in the night, goes back to work.
One more look.
And they say it cleared there before it got to the bench area. course, if you shoot it into the bench over the glass there is no penalty.
And a little tough to tell from that angle. There's no depth perception on TV.
I trust the linesmen. They are right far more often than they are wrong.
Malhotra, who had a chance short-handed earlier, lost the puck up there. Horkoff in over the blue line. Sevier was with him. Puck fired in. Cole after it in the corner. Cole. They get it back. Demers walks in, shoots. And Price got a piece of that and knocked it up over the glass. Another play.
They've really simplified this power play, just trying to get shots and traffic on Carey Price, who was a bit of a surprise starter. We've seen in the NHL this year that goalies who play in these back-to-back games themselves have a very poor record in that second game of back-to-backs. And we know Carey Price can play upwards of 70 games per year, but it was assumed that Tokarski was going to get the start, but I think it shows how important this game is to Montreal and to Carey Price that he got the start tonight.
Well, and you wonder how much of that was a competitive Carey Price, who would have gone to his coach perhaps and said, not happy with the way it ended last night. Here's Plekanec. And Seguin back. Oh, Plekanec popped him, and he's going to take a penalty.
Wow. Right under his jaw. Good back check by Seguin to break up the chance, and then Thomas Plekanec trying to give the cold shoulder. Little reverse bump into Seguin before he gets closed off and mistimed it right up through the jaw. So now it's going to be good minute 13, 5-on-3. And one of the top penalty killers, Thomas Plekanec, will be in the box. Good back check here, Schultz to break it up, and then almost an elbow right through the jaw.
Yeah, I think it was timed perfectly, actually.
Well, you know what? I play with Thomas Plekanec. He's not a dirty player per se. He's just trying to protect himself, engage physically. He just got up a little high on Seguin. And now it's a crucial part of the game here. Mike Weaver, one of their key penalty killers, not in. Thomas Plekanec, one of the key penalty killers, in the box. And a big challenge here for Montreal.
It will be a two-man advantage for Dallas for 113. And face-off in the offensive zone.
Tyler Seguin, he's a shooter. Jamie Benn, he's a shooter. Sevier will be in front of the net.
Daly, he's a shooter. He's back at the blue line. Puck comes back, and right between Benn and Daly. And here's Daly with 4 of his 5 goals this year on the power play. And he tips it in and follows up. Daly up around back of the goal. Spezza back at the right point. Seguin with it here. Works it back. Daly, Spezza, down low, working it around. Benn, waiting, passing. A little catch there with Spezza. Moves it down low. Seguin from the angle, and it comes up around the boards, and
good keep. Good keep.
Daly, great job to keep it in. Works it over. Trying to come back on the weak side for Benn. Daly slides it down. Benn waiting, passing. Shooting, scores! Seguin gets the goal. It's 2-0.
Good effort on the power play. Puck should be up, but Trevor Daly slides, keeps it in. Keeps the offensive zone time alive, and then finally they work it down. Goal line pass here by Jamie Benn. Changes his angle, gets over Hemlin and Malhotra. And then that release. Look at that! Sweeper and up right under the bar by Tyler Seguin. For his 20th of the year, leading goal scorer in the NHL, shows you exactly why with that finish.
1:10 to go in a one-man advantage for Dallas. And they are riding on a jet stream of confidence right now.
Dallas Stars power play goal.
Still on the power play. Spezza slides it down low. Seguin sneaking up on the weak side. Daly up to Seguin. Moves in. Fired it. That one off Seguin's skate. Puck down in the corner. Knocked down. Seguin back to the line. Daly over for Benn. Slides by him, but he'll catch up to him. Back out for Daly. Knocked it down for Benn. Moving in. Down low. This is Eakin. He's got a goal in this game. Whips it down. They work it over. That was the same play as last time. Seguin over in the back door. He's got it now. Shot's going to come through off the side of the net. Skips up and is cleared. Good pressure by Dallas on this power play. Back-to-back man advantages. Two-man advantage furrowing into a one-man advantage. And that expires now with Buchanan stepping back out. Roussel up there after. He lost his stick coming in, got it back, and he's looking for the puck here. It'll come out, Demers works it across. Ben trying to fire it in. Knocked down, they push and shove after. Fiddler was looking for it. This is Fiddler in the corner. Markov under some pressure there from Roussel. Back to the line. Fired in there by Jordy Ben. Hops up around the boards. Demers up after it. He was bumped by Weiss. Demers with it. Looks around. And tried to fire it out. Breaking in was Travis Mullen. And he couldn't quite find him with the puck.
This is a different Dallas team than we've seen the last few weeks. They are playing fast and supporting the puck well. Montreal's got no time in their own end whatsoever.
Cole coming up after it. Gonchar tries to rub him out. Travis Mullen looking for the puck, knocked away from him, and the puck deflected up over the boards and into the Dallas bench, and we get a stop.
Leading goal scorer in the league, Tyler Seguin. You know he's going to be a trigger man. He wants the puck over here. He's trying to get ready, and he's able to release it right away and get it right in the top corner for the goal. Second chance, he wants it down to Ben, wants the same shot, but this pass comes a little bit too hard. He can't quite one-time it, and Carey Price is over there to seal off the angle. But you see him just try to work and continue to move subtly to find the opening, give Jamie Benn an angle for the pass.
Gonchar moves it up. Desharnais on the way in for Montreal. Desharnais breaking through. Pacioretty going for the front of the net. And Parenteau up there as well. Puck comes over. Gonchar moves in, waits, fires one. Well wide and pings off the glass and all the way down the ice. Gilbert for Montreal, played it up. Gonchar. Buchanan. Gallagher. Tried to hammer it towards the goal, had to hurry and didn't get a great shot away. Galchenyuk dropped it back, and that one fired by Emelin. Galchenyuk, here's Emelin. Tucks it through. Buchanan couldn't get to it. It gets by Subban, racing up after it. Sevier looking for the trailer and threw it all the way back and turned it over. Back the other way comes Gallagher, got it up. Galchenyuk weaves in, top of the slot, waiting, shoots. That was stopped. Galchenyuk gets it back, looking around, plays it over. Markov looks through, fires a shot. That's kicked away. There's puck. Sevier after it. Got it out to center. Back in comes Galchenyuk, dishes off. Markov shooting, stop, rebound right there. Poked away by Lehtonen. Oh, and coming in with a big hit was Prost.
Prost trying to get Garbett to go right now.
And meanwhile, puck cleared up into the corner by Daly. What a hit, Garbett and Prost. It was Prost who was the deliverer of the hit, if you will.
Yeah, he's going to go to the box, though, for a rough after the fact.
So we will take a break, but look at this. Bang. You're watching Hockey Night in Canada on
starring in this game with a goal and an assist, and there's a very special private suite at American Airlines Center. It's called Seguin Stars. 2 years ago, when he was playing at the Spengler Cup during the lockout, Seguin got word that a group of his friends had been in a car accident back home. One of his best friends, Derek Moseychuk, had been rendered a quadriplegic, so to honor Moseychuk, Seguin provides a luxury suite at each game for the Southwest Wheelchair Athletic Association. Very special and will be when Moseychuk gets a chance to visit this season, Paul.
Thanks, Scott. Puck down around back of the Montreal net. It's going to come up and around. Ben looking for it. Dallas on the power play. They're 2 for 4 on the power play in this game. Puck comes across to Ben. Whips it across. Daly pulled the trigger there. That was kicked away. And the puck cleared. Daly couldn't keep it in. 5 shots on goal. Now 6 on the power play tonight for Dallas and 2 goals. Seguin with 1 of them. Spezza dishes off and heads to the net. Puck comes back to Seguin. Fires one right across, a shot pass. And Spezza almost clicked.
I don't know how he missed. He was right on top of the goal line. Just dribbled it wide.
Daly. Eakin after it. He has the other Dallas goal. To go with Seguins. Spezza. Little miscommunication there. Daly plays it all the way up. Spezza threw it across. Seguin dishes off. Moving in. Cole shoots one. Rebound. Pops right out. Puck fired just wide. That was Sevier swooping up after it. Here's Cole. Dallas just humming on the power play tonight. It really had some jump. Goligoski gets some help to keep it in. Puck knocked down. Gilbert got all tangled up. Picked off by Price. And he'll hang on to it after Gilbert wasn't able to clear. And Price tested point blank.
Dallas is playing with all kinds of speed right now. Montreal has no answer on the blue lines. Full control on the entry, seam pass from Benn. And look at Jason Spezza, post up on the back door, trying to find a way to tip that one in. Just sails it wide, and then second group comes out, turnover, Sevier, and a good glove save and whistle from Carey Price. Got to try to slow this down and keep it at just 2.
Sevier had a couple chances on that shift. 20 seconds to go on the power play. Dallas with the advantage. And at the line, Demers a little bit of trouble keeping it in. In over the line. Cole towards the corner, bounced off of his stick. And Weiss trying to come out, plays whistle down, and we're going to have a slashing call coming up. And Montreal will get their first power play chance of the night. Based on a true story, Scorpion follows a group of brilliant misfits hired by Homeland Security to defend against complex high-tech threats. You can catch it Mondays at 9 Eastern Time and Pacific Time on City. Also available on citytv.com or the City Video app.
An opportunity here for Montreal as Horcoff goes for a slash. Little whack there on Subban's wrist, and he sells it, shaking his hand in the air, letting the referees know that he was hit. Of course, he's okay enough to play on the power play, and after being dominated for basically half this game, shots 18-6 for Dallas. Montreal goes to the power play, trying to close it to 1.
Montreal with their first power play chance of the night. They're 23rd in the league coming into the game, 14.9%. And then again, Dallas heading into the game, 24th in the league, and they have 2 power play goals.
Dallas so successful with speed through the neutral zone on the power play. Montreal's got to try to generate some of their own.
Subban, looking for some movement there. You could hear him calling out, go, go, go. Here's Subban. Works it up. Galchenyuk. Subban. Waits. Galchenyuk again. Drops it down low. Puck came across. And Markov had moved up there on the left side. Here's Galchenyuk. Plekanec up there to help out. Puck comes back. Subban plays it over. One-timer. Lehtinen stops it. Couldn't hang on. And the loose puck is cleared out of harm's way. That was Daly who got it out. Oh, Price out there having trouble with it. Oh, my. Puck was thrown up ahead there.
Almost copped it up to Garbutt. Oh, my goodness.
He got right tangled up in his own bad luck and almost turned it over. That was comedic.
Just prior to that, though, Montreal gets their chance at the power play. Gallagher, Galchenyuk, everybody in front of the net. Right there, Gallagher thinks he's got the empty net as Lehtinen had been slow to the side of the net. Just could not quite connect. And Carey Price, who, when he gets frustrated and when his team is not playing well, can be a little over-aggressive and start to wander trying to play the puck.
Well, he was there.
Over the top of the circle.
Gonchar played it ahead, dashing in, Desharnais gets it up towards the corner. Desharnais now back in the net. Twisting around, being watched by Jordy Benn. And nowhere to run. Parenteau up there pokes it loose. Pacioretty gets it around back to the line. Gilbert tacked it back up. It was intended for Pacioretty, but broken up. And the puck is cleared. 15 seconds to go in the power play for Montreal. Gonchar hits the line and just wrists it in, and Lehtinen grabs it and hangs on.
Break the ice with Icebreakers, official mint of the NHL.
Montreal wrapping up a 4-game road trip. They'll be on the plane probably an hour and a half, 2 hours afterwards. Wheels up, head back to Montreal. They won the first one in Colorado, and since then it's been uphill. 8:47 to go in the second period. Montreal trailing Dallas by a score of 2-0 on City. This is Hockey Night in Canada.
Welcome back to Dallas. 8:47 to go in the second period here at American Airlines Center, and the Stars lead the Canadiens 2-0 on our Budweiser red light scoreboard. The Leafs getting the measure of the Canucks in Toronto lead Vancouver 4-0 now in the second period. Earlier, Marty Brodeur relieved Jake Allen in the second period and got his first win as a St. Louis Blue. The Blues beat the Islanders 6-4. Pittsburgh over Ottawa. Flyers beat the Kings earlier. Paul.
Montreal just coming off the power play. They were 0 for 1 on the power play. They had 3 shots on goal in an effort to get the offense sparking. It's been all Dallas. Both their goals coming with the man advantage. And Seguin has one of them. He's up there trying to win the puck along the boards. Crust watching him. Crust had his pocket picked by Seguin. He'll throw it back towards the line. Daly fires it up. Sevier trying to go after it. Takes a chip at the puck. And Seakac plays it down the ice. It's going to roll on. Oleksiak plays it up ahead. Knocked down. Klingberg moves in. Good low shot. And he tested Price there. Klingberg up there looking for it. Mentioned it a couple of times, but a good young Russian defenseman is John Klingberg, 21 years of age. Seakac dishing it up towards the corner. Crust up to look for. Oleksiak got there first for Dallas. Puck knocked down. Desharnais was going towards the net. Couldn't get it to him. This is Gilbert. Up back of the goal. Eakin works it loose. Comes along. Fired there by Demers. And pops up out of play, so whistle down.
Dallas being so aggressive. That's Klingberg jumping up. Could have played it safe, sat back in case of a turnover, but he jumps right in, creates a shot. And then nothing breaks down defensive zone coverage quicker than shots and rebounds. Nobody knows where it's going. Everyone starts running around. Klingberg puts one on net. Seguin picks it up, and then again, it's more offensive zone time as the Canadiens start running around their own end. And it has been 2 periods of that so far for Dallas.
Pacioretty in over the line, trying to cut around Demers and lost the puck. Jordy Ben winds his way out to center. Tucking it up there, he was looking for Eric Cole, and plays whistle down.
Jason Spezza, big trade down to Dallas. Signed an extension, 4 years, $30 more million after this year. Obviously settling in that second line center role, and what a difference it is for him to be down here compared to Ottawa. Talked to him this morning, congratulated on his deal. I said, yeah, it's great to have the deal done. Now it's time to win some games. He wants to make sure that he gets back to the playoffs as he adjusts the life out west.
He has played as well against Montreal as any team in the league. He has 29 career goals against the Canadiens, and he's going to the net here, looking for another one. That's more than against any other opponent during his career. McKenzie tried to play it across. It was broken up there by Gallagher. Puck comes out, and Gallagher hops it over the blue line. Kind of stuffed there, and the puck just bounced harmlessly towards the corner. Plekanec's looking for it. Galchenyuk, Gallagher, Looking for just a bit of room. Goligoski was right on him. Puck will roll back out. Tipped up. Gallagher again. Goligoski impeding his progress. This is Gilbert. Waits, didn't have a shot. Works it over. Gonchar thought he did. It comes off the glass. Bounces down there at the side. And Lehtinen is able to cover it up.
Well, Paul, you touched on it. Long-time Ottawa Senator Jason Spezza. Not surprising to see his numbers being exceptional against Montreal. Look at that, 62 points in 54 games, including 29 goals. I always remember the one in overtime. Walking Sheldon Souray going backhand roof on Jose Theodore. That's one of his highlight real goals against Montreal. And who says you can't make hockey trades anymore? Jim Nill has made a few here down in Dallas.
Spezza loves it down here. He likes the lifestyle and a lifetime Dallas Cowboys fan. So a nice fit for him there as well. This is Gilbert up towards the corner. Gilbert back of the net, shook himself loose, got the puck out in front. He's up there pursuing it himself. Pulled away. Klingberg got it up around the boards, played to the line and out. And offside called. Actually, the puck was gloved ahead, pardon me. It was gloved ahead, so play is whistled down. We'll take a break. You're watching Hockey Night in Canada.
Well, as the father of someone who's fully inked, our son Darcy, and as someone who lost the battle while bellowing "My house, my rules," you still have those tats when you're 50. I really wonder what Tyler Seguin's parents think of him being fully sleeved on both arms. Turns out there was no battle, as when Seguin got his first tattoo at age 16, his father Paul went with him to get one as well. And so now, when he goes home, Seguin's mother, Jackie, casually asks, "Have you got anything new?" Those are cool parents, and clearly it's time for me to get a tat. And I got something in mind, Paul. It's going to be right across my chest, and it's going to say, "Embalmer, please try CPR one more time."
I got the great big huge phoenix across my back, like the guy in the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Served me well.
One of those trades bringing Tyler Seguin down to Dallas. It certainly worked out for the Dallas Stars, and let's talk about his maturity. And Scott, you mentioned some of those charitable causes, and off ice, on ice, he has grown leaps and bounds since he's been down here and really become the player everyone thought he would.
Markov, sharp angle. That was stopped by Lehtinen. Montreal 9 shots on goal in the game. Dallas with 20. And that puck rolling off the skate of Seguin. Now he'll stride up after it. Price out to play it. And had to play it quickly with Seguin closing ground. Subban, long pass up ahead. Missed Pacioretty, and the Canadians wanted to get in a change in any event. And starting back is Trevor Daley. Moved it up ahead. McKenzie coming in. Backhand shot and kind of fell apart on the backhand attempt. And an easy save for Price.
Tyler Seguin comes on down to Dallas from Boston, where he won a Stanley Cup. Was playing on the wing in Boston, a natural centerman, and look what he has done since playing for the Stars. 118 points, 57 goals in 107 games, was 4th in the league in scoring last year. And him and Jamie Benn have formed a formidable duo on that first line, giving Jim Nill exactly what he thought he was getting when he went out and acquired him for all those different players from Boston.
Since the start of the 13-14 season, only Sidney Crosby with more points than Tyler Seguin. Puck right in front of the net there. Roussel was looking for it, but Price hanging on.
One team skating, reacting, and one team on their heels, watching. And Trevor Daley jumping on the puck, battled in front from Roussel, winning a loose puck battle there with Tom Gilbert. A little push off, gets open, almost kicks that one in, but again, it's just the battle level. Those loose pucks and the quick feet of Dallas are winning this game right now for them. And Montreal is playing like it's their second game at back-to-back.
Well, Mike, I've heard you talk before about when a team is on the last game of a road trip, 4-game road trip in this case, they're thinking about going home before they even hit the ice for the last game. I've heard you say that before.
That can be the case, but after last night's loss, you're going to be focused on the game. They've only been on the road for 4 or 5 days. Not like it's been 10, 12.
McKenzie steers it in. Subban couldn't control it. That comes across. Markov plays it up ahead, and almost ready to sneak away there was Andrighetto, playing in his first NHL game. Klingberg dishes off. Spezza creeping up there on the right side, fired it. Demers. Pass was just behind Ryan Garbett. Markov. Andrighetto. Subban. He heard footsteps. Fiddler was closing fast on him. 3:51 to go in the period. This Wednesday on American Horror Story, Jimmy sinks into a drunken despair in the wake of a tragic loss. Don't miss this brand new episode this Wednesday at 10 Eastern Time and Pacific Time on FX Canada.
Largest fireworks show at Big D in Miami. Get your tickets at 2 and 4 Go Stars and DallasStars.com.
Buck just rings up around the boards. Mullen moving up after it. Playing his first game against his former team.
And his 700th of his career as well. So a couple milestone nights. Horkoff 900, Mullen 700. Always nice to knock those off as you climb your games played ladder.
Here's Emelin. And under some pressure, Fiddler with it now along the boards. Fires one. Got towards the corner, comes along. Fiddler couldn't knock it down that time. Tangredi played it across. That's Aaron Tangredi. Has not played much in this game. And out there for a turn right now. And he'll take the puck up along the left-hand side. Demers. Back there for Daly. And Jamie Benn not able to get to it. And that will be an icing call on Dallas.
We mentioned Sean Horkoff, 900th game, long-time Edmonton Oiler, had some great runs to the final there. Travis Mullen, 700, probably best remembered for winning the Cup back in Anaheim. Sammy Paulson, Rob Niedermeyer, how effective they were in their run. It's been a nice career for both of them.
And this is Gilbert. Trying to get it across in front. Ben will pick it up. Subban. Pacioretty hops in over the blue line. Desharnais is up there with him, and so is Weiss. And an icing call with 2:30 to go in the second period.
And as much as this game has been in Dallas's favor, if you're in Montreal, you're sitting there, okay, we have 2.5 minutes left in this period. We're only down 2. If we can get 1 before the period is over, we're right in this game, a game we probably don't even deserve to have a chance to get points out of. And so you try to draw some positives out of what has been a pretty bleak first 2 periods, just 10 shots on net, but 1 goal.
Puck comes back. Gonchar tried to fire it through. It was blocked by Jamie Benn, who starts back. Fires it up towards the corner. Sevier up there after it. Galchenyuk from Montreal. Cuts to center. Gonchar in over the line offside.
Montreal needs some offense. They need to find a way to get some pucks to the net, some goals. And look at all these forwards that are not getting it done right now. 2 and 9 is the hottest of that bunch. Brendan Gallagher, of course, got the one last night. That's a lot of 1 goals in a lot of games for players that play significant minutes, get power play minutes. David Desharnais all the way 1 and 21. And everyone's going to go through hot streaks, cold streaks, but it's tough when you have 6, 7, 8 of your top 10 forwards having it happen at the same time.
This is Desharnais moving up, backhand shot right in front there for Pacioretty. And that was stopped by Lehtonen. Back the other way. Sevier up along the board. Pardon me, that's Cole pushing it up to the corner. Cole after it. Klingberg up there to help him out. Klingberg gets it up around back to the goal. Spezza. McKenzie gets by him. And Klingberg had Pacioretty coming up behind him. Stepping in, Cole shoots. That's deflected wide. And back quickly comes Press for Montreal. Press coming in, looking, waits, shoots. and had a beat in the short side. It comes up around the boards and all the way out. Parenteau was up there with him. Puck fired in. Andrighetto looking for the return feed. Roussel along the board. Plays it ahead. Garbutt up towards the corner. Sekac for Montreal.
1 minute remaining in the second period.
Less than a minute to go here in period number 2. And it has been a dominating performance from the Dallas Stars. Offside, Sekac there at the line.
We talked how Montreal just one chance, one goal away. Will they get it here? A rare rush opportunity. Desharnais picks the puck off the zone. Pacioretty beats the defender back door. And nice pass in the back rim for Desharnais to Pacioretty. Tries to go far side, but Lehtinen get those pads flat against the ice, sealing off the bottom of the net, denying the leading goal scorer for Montreal.
Probably Lehtinen's best save of the game, for what it's worth. He hasn't had to make many.
He's had one, the breakaway on Malhotra in the first period, and that. 2 tough saves tonight so far for Kari Lehtinen. He's made both of them.
The winningest Finnish goalie in NHL history.
Rennie may have something to say about that as their careers progress.
This is Garbutt. Up towards the line there, Eakin. Up after it, Eakin was knocked down, but Garbutt up there in support. Garbutt and Eakin, puck back towards the line. Daly had to take it in the backhand. Just fires it back in, and a penalty coming up against Montreal. Garbutt was out-jousted.
And that's Yemlin got the cross-check into Garbutt's face, and that 4 penalties this line has drawn now between Garbutt and Roussel. Playing physical, getting under the skin of the Canadians. Battling in the corner. Of course, it was Garbutt who knocked out Mike Weaver. There's the push and the shove, and a bit of a sales job there by Garbutt as well. I wouldn't be surprised if they both get one.
And that looks as though it may be the case as the other penalty box door swings open.
4-on-4 is correct. They can go to the dressing rooms now with just 10 seconds left. I think that's a good call, though. The cross-check, that's an embellishment. I don't think Garbutt needs to fall that way. But you know these guys are on their games when they're irritating the opponents like they are. He's getting the taps on the way off.
10.8 seconds to go in the period. Second intermission coming up. Saturday headlines with Damian Cox and Elliot Friedman. One of my favorite parts of the show. Lots of news you can sink your teeth into. Plus George with Nick Kypreos and Kelly Rudy. That is coming up after the break. In our second intermission, 10.8 seconds to go here in this period. Jamie Benn up to take the face-off. And gets it right back to Seguin. And he scores! That is precisely what Ben wanted to happen. You saw him turn and make sure Seguin was where he wanted him to be. It's 3-0.
That rarely works in the NHL because it's so tough to win a faceoff clearly, let alone when it's 4-on-4, and there is nobody to put pressure. So Pacioretty or Subban's got to be able to close quicker to get that shot off, but no, clean win. Rister through the screen of Pacioretty and Subban trickles through Price, and that is a backbreaker for the Montreal Canadiens.
And that's the end of the second period. The score.
Oh, it is too much to chew on for the Canadiens. In the dying moments, as Seguin scores the goal, the NHL's leading goal scorer with the pair tonight. And through to Dallas with a 3-0 win against Montreal. Second intermission coming up. You're watching a Hockey Night in Canada on City.
In Dallas, the Stars are 20 minutes away from their first win in 5 games. Tyler Seguin with the pair, and the Stars have a 3-0 lead heading for the third period. On our Budweiser Red Light scoreboard, Leafs 4-1 over the Canucks heading for the third in Toronto. Aaron Ekblad's got 3 assists in Florida's 3-2 lead over Buffalo. Marty Brodeur got the win for St. Louis over the Islanders. Flyers beat the Kings for their first road win in 6 weeks. And San Jose at Calgary later on Hockey Night in Canada. Dude Perfect is a group of former college roommates from Texas A&M who specialize in making fun of sports stereotypes. They spent 2 days making a fascinating video with Jamie Benn and Tyler Seguin at the start of the season. It's full of creative stuff like skeet shooting at the ballpark. Check that out. Video creates the impression Ben and Seguin got everything right on the first take, but of course that would have been impossible, and that's why it took 2 days. Nonetheless, Dude Perfect Stars Edition has almost 3 million views on YouTube, and it's a good example of how to market on social media, Paul.
Stars do a fantastic job on all fronts. Marketing and social media. It's a pleasure to come here and do a game. Great broadcast location, great information provided, and that's just part of the whole picture. Third period, and the picture not a pretty one for Montreal Canadiens fans. 3-0, Dallas leading. And we start this period off with teams playing 4-on-4. Plekanec moved it up on the wing there for Sekac. Just knocks it in. Klingberg didn't have much time, moved it quickly. This is Benn. Jamie Benn. And lost the puck. And brother Jordy there to cover. Plays it across for Klingberg. Galchenyuk dropped it back. Gilbert. Nice little back pass. Up for Galchenyuk. Shoots. Had a great look there from the right side. Lehtonen is getting up, laboring a little bit. It's as though he might have stretched and tweaked something there. We'll keep an eye on him. The puck rolls to him, and he's just going to flop down and hang on to it.
Hey.
Curious to see how he is here.
Trainer's half on the ice already right beside me. Wondering what's going on with Kari Lehtonen as he was hunched over. Didn't look right the entire time after making that save. Working the right shoulder through the kinks. Waves off the trainer, says, I'm good. Back you go. Inside for the Dallas Stars is nice pass here from Gilbert over to Galchenyuk. Got the empty net, but it's Jordy Benn playing goal. Make sure to keep that one empty. And oh, it's the stretch on the right shoulder. See him lay out, trying to get the blocker down with his body the other way. And see Jonas Gustafsson dislocated his shoulder on a similar move for Detroit a few weeks ago. And goaltending has been an issue for Dallas. That's Jussi Reinus, their backup. Anders Lindback have been on waivers to the minors, so some uncertainty what they're doing there.
Markov chopped it towards the goal. Desharnais was walking across in front looking for it. He'll beat it over there to pick it up now. Desharnais looks around. Markov all the way along, gets it to Subban, moving in with a wrist shot. Worked it across. Just fired wide by Parenteau. He's up after it now. Desharnais coming up. Eakin. Goligoski. Just chipped up towards the corner. Sekac was looking for it. There's Sekac. Trying to dish it out there. And Draghetto down there. He's got it now. Walks in, cuts it, but scores! San Draghetto with his first NHL goal in his first NHL game.
Showing just why he was called up, because he's got in the hands, he creates some offense and takes it out of the corner, takes it hard to the net backhand. We saw him battling against Jason Spezza earlier on in the game. Well, here he shakes Spezza. Quick feet moving off the wall. Spezza gets caught. And nice move, posted in. But right here, jumping off the wall, gets inside Spezza. And then he's in alone, makes no mistake. And it's been a good first few minutes here for Montreal, as Dallas going back to some of their old habits that have haunted them most of this year.
Andrighetto developed in Switzerland, but he did play a couple of years in the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League with Rouen-Noranda. Rising shot there from Demers, wrestled down by Price. Comes up. Seguin. Looking for a hat trick tonight. He has 5. And the puck tipped up over the glass and out of play.
Then Andrighetto takes advantage of some bad plays for Dallas, who was so good through 2 periods. But here, Goligoski got the puck on his stick. Who's that pass to? Nobody in particular. Turns it over. Soft play by him. Soft play by Spezza on the wall. And then nice little tuck. Andrighetto, first game, first goal. What a feeling for him. Going to make his bid to stay in the lineup with Lars Eller out for an indefinite period of time. Anyone who could score is going to get a good look in Montreal.
Oh, he looked pretty slick right there. Ben plays it in. Subban plays it around back of the net. Parentil chips it up towards the corner. Desharnais hustling up there after it. Lettinen got to it first. Markov snapped it across in front of the net. Was looking for Parentil, who was in the slot. Puck just steered in by Seguin. And wheeling back, Subban. Up to center. Snaps it in forcefully off the board. Weiss hustling up there looking for it. Moen had it roll away from him. Goligoski played it across. Daly tucked it up there in the wing. Edelin plays it around back of the net. Knocked down by Horcoff. Got by Goligoski. Swatted there by Malhotra at the line, but the play had gone offside. Whether you're at home or on the road, the Shopping Channel is your one-stop fan shop. Shop tsc.ca/NHL. It's a game changer. Subban plays it over. Andrighetto risking it in there around back of the net. Andrighetto after it. Knocked it loose. He will head towards the slot. Pass comes out. Sekac stretched, but it was just behind him. And back quickly the other way. Roussel gets it up ahead. Eakin up into the corner, given a bump by Markov. Eakin comes away with it, looking for Roussel. He got it there, but Roussel couldn't wheel it in. Goligoski plays it in. The Cats. Subban. No icing. Daly got back there. Emelin. Galchenyuk. Looks around, slams on the brakes, plays it back. Gonchar up the middle. He's got Galchenyuk with him to his right. And he forges his way in over the blue line. The play goes offside.
We'll revisit that all-important third goal now for Dallas. Late in the second period, all 4 guys get out there, have a nice meeting of the minds. Where do they want to do? Where's everyone going to go? Jamie Benn wins it clean, and Pacioretty, Subban slow to react. Carey Price doesn't pick out the puck through traffic, and all of a sudden, what should have been a nothing play ends up being an insurance goal right now for Dallas. I spoke to how both these teams played through the first 2 periods. One team ready to go, the other team not quite engaged.
Puck work back. Gonchar unloads, knocked down, an eye-high shot coming in and captured in the glove by Lettinen, with a couple of Montreal players frisking around the edge of the crease.
It's amazing to watch Montreal just turn it on here in the third period. All of a sudden now they're winning the battles, and they're a little quicker on the puck and generating chances in on Kari Lettinen, who will be in for a busier third than he was in the first and second for sure.
Lukanich gets it back over to Gonchar again. Fires one in. That was tipped in the way through. Lettinen still got in front of it. And the puck played down the ice. And icing on the Stars.
Well, that's a pretty good save by Lettinen, as it was Seacash who got a piece of that point shot from Gonchar. And this is one thing that Sergei Gonchar has done so well for so long. Wristers through, not for scoring goals himself, but for tip opportunities. And Seacash works his stick free, makes his tip, gets it down, and oh, it's a nice reaction save by Lettinen.
Puck comes back. Markov got rid of it quickly. It was on the way in. I believe it hit Gallagher. Puck played out. Here comes McKenzie in over the line. Fired one up. Gallagher tipped it up ahead. Cutting in. Pacioretty saucered it across there through the slot. Galchenyuk was up looking for it. Goligoski lost it. Puck down in front. Moving up, Subban takes it to the backhand. He'll dish off now into the corner. Galchenyuk looking around. Montreal seeing a little bit of daylight here. If they can just push their way in a little further through the door. They're down by 2. Pacioretty snaps it across. It was tipped. Lettinen leaves it there for Goligoski. We'll start back. Montreal with the change. So thus not much forechecking pressure. Spurring up there is Roussel. Tangles with Parenteau. Ben fires it in right on, and it is smothered and held by Price. 13:07 to go, third period. Montreal with a bit of jump here in this third. They're down by 2.
This won't come as a shock, but there are no real Cowboys on the Dallas Stars. Closest perhaps Vern Fiddler, who at least can boast he caught George Strait's hat at a concert here last June. He wears it at every opportunity, including in the streets of Fort Worth, where he set out to find out if anyone knew who he was, and it turned out no one did, which the Edmonton native had a grand laugh at. Back to the hat. Strait played before a record-breaking crowd of over 104,000 at AT&T Stadium. Fiddler was 6 rows back and caught it. One fan offered his Rolex for it. Country Music Hall of Fame wants it, but Fiddler's keeping it. It looks pretty good in it, Paul.
He's from Edmonton, so he comes by it well. Looks good in the hat.
I think I would have taken the Rolex, I'm not going to lie to you.
You're not a cowboy hat guy. I can assure you of that. I don't even know if you're a hat guy. You got a dome like I do, you need a hat to cover it up. You got a good head of hair. Back to matters at hand. Seguin with it. Sitting on 2 goals tonight. He has 6 career hat tricks, 5 hat tricks with Dallas. Puck bounced up, knocked down. There's Seguin with it. And he will fire it up towards the corner. Giving chase, Subban up there, and it's just going to be squeezed there along the side of the net and covered up by Price. Great weekend of hockey, as always. On Rogers, we have Rogers Hometown Hockey coming up tomorrow. Vancouver against Ottawa. Ron McLean, and he will be hosting things from Sudbury, Ontario. That's tomorrow at 6:30 Eastern, 3:30 Pacific time on City. Bob Cole will have the call of that game, and if you missed it earlier, go to sportsnet.ca. An absolutely lovely segment on our show earlier tonight. Bob Cole and Dick Irvin, a couple of veterans, reminiscing about the late, great Jean Beliveau. Sportsnet.ca is the place to go to see that. It'll be worth going. Really heartfelt from a couple of great veteran broadcasters. Here's Subban. Ricochets it up off the glass. Spezza will lean into Subban. But chopped in there. Montreal had a bit of spark, Mike, but it seems to...
Dallas has settled it back down.
Yeah.
Smarter plays, just slowing the game down a little bit. Jamie Benn, Tyler Seguin play together virtually every 5-on-5 shift, and because of that, they can take the faceoffs on whatever side they want, one lefty, one righty. We already saw Seguin score once on a quick draw and shot, and because he can release the puck so quickly, they can work plays like that. Seguin can take them on the right side of the ice when it's on his strong side, his backhand. Jamie Benn can take them on the left side when it's in his strong side of the backhand. It gives them some versatility and options that most lines don't have.
Do you care to offer any insight on why it's worked so well for Seguin here in Dallas? I mean, he left Boston, and you know, the book was bad attitude, not a guy we want.
It's worked well because he's been played as a #1 centerman, which is what he is. In Dallas, in Boston, he was a third-line winger.
Puck comes out, Gilbert shoots, tried to fire it across there in the slot. It went off a leg. Here's Pacioretty. Works it back. Emelin with a shot. That was gloved down. Rebound comes out. Play is called.
I don't know. Brendan Gallagher doesn't like it, and I don't blame him. That looked like it was right at his chest. And its shoulders were not the crossbar when it's not a goal. And Brendan Gallagher posted right up in front, facing that shot, knocked it down with a stick around his shoulder. But referee right on it, blowing it down. There's the wrister from Emelin, brings it in. And that doesn't look like it's over his shoulders to me.
Steve Kozari was the referee who made the call, and I did notice he was glancing up at the big scoreboard here to see if they'd replay it. They didn't.
They like verification when they can get it.
Fiddler plays it down, fired back out by Markov. Snapped up for Parenteau. Desharnais hustling up there after it. Alexiak was there. And Fiddler plays it back down into Montreal territory. Winding it up is Subban.
No, that's a penalty.
And Cole got a piece of him. Subban goes down. Penalty coming up. So when we come back, the Montreal Canadiens will get a chance in the power play because of that. You're watching Hockey Night in Canada on City. Back in a moment.
Power play as Eric Cole heads to the box, and he should know better. He played with PK Subban. He knows what he can do. You can't defend PK Subban while running at him forward. You're going to get a penalty every single time. Obvious trip from Eric Cole. So Montreal goes to the power play. Just under 10 minutes left, and they've got Pacioretty, Gallagher, and Galchenyuk, and Thomas Plekanec has not seen as much ice as we're used to him seeing, as it looks like Galchenyuk will be the center on this #1 power play unit, which is a change for Montreal.
Dallas penalty number 72, Eric Cole, 2 minutes for tripping, time penalty 10:01.
So opportunity knocking here for the Montreal Canadiens. We'll see whether or not they can answer. Subban. Stopped up there at the blue line. Back out for Markov. Pacioretty over on the right side. Puck fired in that right wing. It'll ring all the way around. Gallagher was looking for it. He was knocked down and the puck cleared. Here comes Subban. Markov bringing it up there, hustling back to get it is Jordy Benn around the boards. Past Pacioretty. Price out to play it. Flying up there is Garbett with some shorthanded pressure. Seacat plays it up. Subban dishes off. Gonchar fires it up. Plekanec up there after it. He's got it in the corner. Plekanec cutting it back for Andrighetto. Andrighetto down low. Plekanec back out. Punched on goal. That stop. Rebound comes out. Fired just wide. Good low punch shot there from Subban. Up around the boards, and PK couldn't keep it in there at the right point. We had the best chance for Montreal on that power play. 28 seconds to go in the advantage. Gonchar got it up ahead. Seacat's moving in, up towards the corner. Puck play back towards the blue line. This is Daly. Up along the boards, Gilbert had a notion, but couldn't quite keep it in. Here's Gonchar with it. Takes a look. Last little thrust here on the power play. Gonchar dishes it up, drop back, Truss shoots it in, and a little bit of a juggle there from Lehtinen, but he was able to contain it.
Good kill by Dallas. Not too many chances. Montreal had one brush shot and rebound attempt. Kari Lehtinen tries to You hear Jordie Benn saying, leave it, plays it to Montreal, works itself eventually around to PK Subban. And he puts in the shot on the blocker, and Gonchar coming the back door, just can't situate himself, and it's a sprawling block from Demers. As Lehtinen was awkwardly trying to get over to the post. Another block shot turns aside Montreal's best chance.
Parenteau got it around back of the net. Crust centers it out in front. Desharnais sandwiched out there by a couple of Dallas players. Here's Parenteau. Crust in over the blue line. Desharnais striding towards the front of the net. Crust tried to knife it out towards the front of the goal. Markov from the sharp angle off a skate. Bit of a foot race. Sevier gets it. He'll come in. Gets a chance. Off the iron. Outside of the post. Sagan was up there with him too. Puck comes up around. Ken plays it back. Demers. McKenzie striding in. Subban gets there first. Galchenyuk chop. Couldn't get it out. Demers fires it back in. Spezza. Benn works it over. Demers shooting. That'll skip up around the boards. Spezza fires one. Knocked down in front. Jamming away at it. McKenzie trying to get loose. Comes out Spezza. Fires a shot. And tipped up over the glass and into the netting. Dallas come right off the kill with some good pressure.
A little pushback as Sevier rings one off the post. He's got this rolling puck. Look at that thing. Will not settle down the entire way and releases it. Tough for Carey Price to read as he picks it off the outside of the post, and then wild scramble. Jason Spezza likes to shoot from tight angles. See if he can catch the goal. He's cheating a little bit. Create a rebound. He does just that. It's McKenzie whacking away. Eric Cole picks it out of the pile. Jason Spezza has a crack as Carey Price keeps it at a 2-goal deficit.
Well, the Canadians still in this one. 6:44 to go. Just down by 2. It's an icing call.
And they got to keep telling themselves they're playing against the worst defensive team in the NHL. The worst. Not a ton of confidence in their ability to close out games. Not a ton of confidence in their goaltender being able to make the saves that he needs to make because they haven't done it all year long. So you just got to keep pushing forward. See if you can just get one more, make it a wild finish. And that's the message on the bench. One more here. Let's just get one and see where we're at.
Mike is right down between the benches. What's the energy level like on the Montreal bench from what you can tell?
Still pretty quiet. Not a lot of chatter coming from Montreal. There's certainly been more focus here in the third, but not a lot of verbal. A lot of sounds coming out of their bench.
Eakin. Emelin gets it up along the boards and chop past Goligoski. And he's got to hustle back. Plekanec's got there, fired it across in front, knocked away by Lehtinen.
You see Andrew Gatto now getting some time up with Plekanec and Seacatch. And the lines have been jumbled around here in the third.
Well, go with the guys who have some jump. Andrew Gatto up after the puck here. Scored his first NHL goal tonight, a nice one, as he tucked it in off the post. And he's definitely had some jump. Back there to break it up, and back the other way is Subban. In over the blue line. PK Subban. Up there and sort of runs out of steam and loses the puck at the high slot. Here's Crust up back of the goal. He was stapled there by Alexiak. Here's Gilbert. Parenteau. Desharnais. Gilbert. All poked by him. Cole trying to get away, and then he was hauled down at center. And the fans hollering for a penalty.
Cole's got to be careful there. He kicks crushed stick away in frustration. Could get an interference penalty for that.
Gallagher's on the way down the right side. He'll go hard to get to that puck in the corner. Up there with Pacioretty trying to make something happen. Time the Avenger here. With just under 5 minutes to go, and Montreal still down by a pair. This is Hockey Night in Canada from the Big D, Dallas.
Dallas has been reeling coming against this game against Montreal. So who do they turn to? And who has given them a great performance? That third line, Eakin, Roussel, and Garbutt. He can get some on the board the power play, but it's really been their physical play and their ability to draw 4 penalties on the Montreal Canadiens, leading to a couple of those power play goals for the Dallas Stars. They have been a thorn in Montreal's side the entire game, playing physically. They knocked Mike Weaver out of this game and have been impactful throughout. And the reason why Lindy Ruff starts them every period and trusts them so much, they have been fantastic here tonight for Dallas.
It's got to be a great feeling when you're a guy on the third line and you don't normally get a chance to, to step into the spotlight as much when it's going for you.
Well, that line has the ability to be really good like they have been tonight. Where they get in trouble is when they start getting over that line, start taking some penalties, instead of drawing them, they're taking them and hurting their team, looking for physical play. They've played on the right side of that balance tonight. Haven't always done so this season.
Spezza turns and fires it out. Markov skating back to pick it up for Montreal. Roussel was trying to get away. Pocket picked by Galchenyuk. And Roussel will fire it in. Galchenyuk. Find a little bit of daylight back there. Subban with it. Snapped it up ahead. Turned over at the blue line. Walking in. Firing one was Garbutt. Now Garbutt's got it on the wall. Pings it up around the boards. It gets past Daly and down the ice. Good chance for Ryan Garbutt there on the turnover. Goligoski saying go, trying to set the floor, needed some motion. Fires it up along the boards down the ice, and that will be an icing call.
Well, one player that Montreal has no answer for, Tyler Seguin, showing the goal scorer's touch on the power play, going roof daddy late in the second, quick release. Those are just goals that most players cannot score. He's got the knack, he's got the shot, and that's why he's got 21 on the year. That pure goal scorer has pocketed 2 and will go to the power play looking for his 3rd. Tonight, as it's going to be Thomas Plekanec picking up a trip right off the draw. And Jamie Benn jumped around him after losing the draw, and Plekanec right here into the legs, trying to slow him down, and pitchforks him up and over. And so with 3:38 left, a 2-minute power play will make things very tough for Montreal Canadiens. And interesting, we'll see, he will not. Lindy Ruff not going with the 4 forwards anymore. He's going 3, getting Daly and Goligoski out there because we've already seen shorthanded Montreal push to get some chances.
Seguin, the NHL scoring leader with 35 points as a result of his effort tonight. And as I mentioned, sitting on 2 goals, looking for what would be his 6th hat trick with Dallas. Now, just to give you an idea, Mike Modano is the franchise record holder for hat tricks in Dallas. So not before the franchise move, but right here in Dallas. How many years did he play? And he had 6. And Seguin's right on top of that.
I'm sure Mo would probably say if he didn't have Ken Hitchcock, he would have had about 20. He might not have a cup, though.
Oh, the puck comes up. Price was out there, and Jamie Benn had a gaping net to shoot at, and it went off the post.
The misadventures of Carey Price continue playing the puck tonight. He's had a couple of close calls.
Oh, you called it. He can sometimes get a little aggressive coming out to do that, and it can cost him. Dallas in the power play. Goligoski clearing it in. Ben up there looking for it. Seguin as well. Puck comes back. Goligoski shoots. That one off the skate. It hits Subban's skate. Galchenyuk played it out.
Pat's already blowing the zone. They'll be doing a lot of that.
And it looks like a penalty coming up.
It's going to be an icing on Trevor Daly. No penalty. I think it's just an ice. And Carey Price to the bench here. But it's still 2-goal deficit. Almost not as he heals this one right to Jamie Benn, who rings it off the outside of the net. Carey Price doesn't quite get this one elevated like he wanted to. And after that ice, with Carey Price on the bench, Dallas will call their timeout because it's been 1 minute 2 seconds this first unit has been out there. They're a little fatigued. It's going to be 5-on-5 with a defensive zone face-off for Lindy Ruff. So settle these guys down, give them a breather, and also probably look to get Jason Spezza off the ice to get a natural winger out there to try to end this game. Michelle Therrien switching things up here, no doubt. Alex Galchenyuk moved to the middle on that number 1 line now. Gallagher, Pacioretty, and Galchenyuk. The challenge will be, and you'll see Brendan Gallagher stepping in to take this faceoff, is that Galchenyuk not yet ready to be an NHL centerman in the faceoff circle.
Gallagher against Jamie Benn in the draw, comes right back to Gilbert, shoots, that was deflected wide. Montreal with an empty net. And here's Gilbert. Puck was rolling on him, unfortunately for Gilbert. So a good shot was never really an option. And Gallagher really buzzing around up there, going hard, trying to force a turnover. Knocked down, and Gilbert couldn't quite keep it in there at the blue line. Seguin knocks it ahead. Here's Ben, works it up, empty net to shoot it.
He stepped off the ice and his stick broke. An empty netter. Unbelievable. That is frustrating.
Gilbert plays it back. Montreal with an empty net and pressing here. Increasingly empty hopes, but still fighting the fight. Ben up along the boards, gets it up ahead. Eakin, empty net, and pushes it up towards the corner. Roussel after it. Garbutt hanging back. Penalized player back out onto the ice, and Montreal still with the empty net and the extra attacker. Desharnais hustles up there after it. Buchanan's up there. And knocked away, empty net for Garbutt, and he will guide that in. That's it.
Well, the line that has started the game and been so good ends it here as Ryan Garbutt. Good defense, quick feet. Jumps on a loose puck that bounced over Andre Markov's stick, and he goes in alone. He puts that one in the corner, not even the middle of the net. So a disappointing road trip here for Montreal as they win the first and will lose their last 3. The first bit of adversity in this season for the Montreal Canadiens.
And meanwhile, to look at the half-full portion of the glass tonight for the Dallas Stars. Without a win in their last 4 games. Brutal defensive effort. They've given up 20 goals in those 4 games. And they come out tonight, and with 40 seconds or so to go, they've only given up 1 to the Montreal Canadiens. The offense has been clicking for them. And they halt the skid. This is Price. They'll just tee it up back there for Gilbert. And those who are still here, many of them on their feet. Give the home team a round of applause. Gilbert comes in. And into the final seconds, he wraps it around across in front. And that will do it. The Dallas Stars, 4-1 winners.
And that's the end of the game. The final score, Montreal 1, your Dallas Stars 4. Stars.
So Montreal head home after an unsuccessful 4-game road trip. 1 win, 3 losses. Dallas snap a 4-game losing streak. 3 stars. Tyler Seguin, star number 1, the NHL's leading scorer, 2 goals and an assist tonight. Cody Eakin got things started offensively for Dallas with a goal, and playing in his first NHL game, Sven Adrighetto scores his first NHL goal. He is star number 3. Dallas 4-1 winners. For Scott Oak and Mike Johnson, I'm Paul Romanuk. That's the story here in Dallas, a 4-1 Stars victory.